Hey guys, it's your favorite spooky ghost here, Bex Luther, with the Comic Book Syndicate, Mike Al and G.I. Jolie, and we just saw Venom. We saw it, we watched it. What did you think, Mike?
Somehow this director has managed to make Tom Hardy look bad. He's one of the best actors working right now, and he didn't know what to do with himself in this movie. It was so effing stupid. I don't know what else to say, but that's my reaction. This movie was a big waste of 90 minutes. It's a piece of shit.
And what is your first reaction?
This movie is fucking terrible. There's nothing made this better.
You know I'm the queen of trash. Not great. Wasn't a great movie. Unfortunately. Like me, who loves everything garbage. Nope.
At the beginning of the movie, I understand what they were trying to do, but they couldn't figure out the tone. They didn't know if they wanted it to be funny or serious or whatever. And they tried to build a relationship between Eddie Brock and his girlfriend, but it just didn't click. Everything felt forced and phony, right? And cheap and badly written. And then once Venom came in with that frickin' voice, I think that's where it even went further downhill.
Oh, the voice was sexy. I like the voice. Those are one of the redeeming things.
Okay, so as somebody, and I'm always kind of like the general public barometer, but like as someone who is not familiar whatsoever with Venom, I have nothing to compare it to. I read nothing going in. I had literally no knowledge of anything, and I still know nothing. I'm terribly confused, and none of it makes a lick of sense at all.
We had a weird audience too, because like even I could hear some of the people in the back when stupid things happened. Our audience of like regular moviegoers was just kind of like, like confused.
Yeah.
And it was a confusing movie. No character interaction felt like it was two people talking to each other. Whoever wrote this movie has never had a girlfriend, doesn't understand how to talk to a woman, doesn't understand how two men speak to one another, doesn't understand how a crazy person talks to the voice in his head. Like, I don't...
In a movie about how a symbiote or an alien would react to a human, it was barely written with any humanity. I don't even know what to say. I'm largely flabbergasted that this apparently made it past executives. Like, did they really see this and go, yeah, that's fine?
I want to know whose idea it was. Whose decision was it to make Venom the symbiote from another planet, outer space, like this being that exists to take a host and then devour everything? Whose idea was it to make him like a horny 15-year-old boy?
Yes.
Like, who decided that he was going to just be like, oh, you don't want to jump out the window? What a pussy. Like, what a bitch. Like, oh my, like...
Here's the thing, is Venom was never a great character, but at least when he was created, the first few years he was okay.
Venom was cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was definitely cool. He was really popular, and the vibe I got from his first few appearances was he reminded me of Robert De Niro's character in Cape Fear. Did you ever see Cape Fear? Where Robert De Niro's character, he was trying to terrorize this guy, and so he'd like go to his house and hang out with his wife and his daughter, and it was scary. And that's what Eddie Brock would do, because Eddie Brock would hang out with Aunt May, because Eddie Brock knew who Peter Parker was. So like that's the route they should have gone with this movie, or like you said, they should have made it at least scary. Like Venom should have been like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, where he's either terrifying the girlfriend with the new boyfriend, or he was just terrorizing somebody. But instead it was just this dopey, stupid alter ego that he talked to that no one could hear. Mm-hmm. So they played that for laughs, the fact that no one else could hear him talk to Venom, but it wasn't well done, it wasn't witty, right?
No, it was like just a really bad buddy cop.
Right.
And like,
buddy symbiote movie.
It could have been such a good horror movie. Like, could you imagine if the main character was the girlfriend and she watches her boyfriend like crumbling, and then he turns into this giant monster and eats people? Like, I'd be like, cool monster flick, at least, instead of like, oh man, Venom sucks.
Yeah, at least we could have gotten like Beauty and the Beast vibes. I can't remember what was the first movie it was that we were like, whoa, this is, I think it was Guardians, where we're like, hey, you've stumbled on some gold here, Marvel. You've taken characters that potentially wouldn't work otherwise, and you've slotted them into a genre film. And that's exactly, I don't know why they don't just do that. Like, don't you understand that that's what works? Take Venom, put him in a science fiction like horror type, like Splice.
Right.
That would have been perfect. But no.
But instead, it was 2004 superhero. That was the genre of this movie.
You know, that's a good point. Instead of, it's almost like they came to it and went, we don't know what to do. It's like, we're not going to base it on the comic. That'd be crazy. But it's like, you're right. At least base it on Jekyll and Hyde or Beauty and the Beast, or take some inspiration for some classic stories. But they didn't do that. They just threw a bunch of shit at the wall to see what stuck.
Yeah, at least the comparison would have been like, you're comparing it to Jekyll and Hyde. Mm-hmm. Actual characters with actual characterization and depth. But no, we have nothing. We have nothing to go on here.
Yeah, there was no conflict between Eddie and Venom. They were like, he was like, oh, what are you? Oh, I'm a cool alien who wants to kill people. Cool. Like, that was it. Like, there wasn't like the inner turmoil that Eddie Brock is supposed to have, where like, he is not a bad person, but he is now doing bad things. Like, that just, he's like, oh, we don't eat bad people. Like, that was his moral dilemma. Like, as someone who really likes Eddie Brock, it just was disappointing because Eddie Brock is such an interesting, complicated character as a human and as Venom, but it was just like, he didn't have a character. Venom had more of a character than Eddie Brock did, and that's your problem.
Well, Venom. So let's talk about Venom. Let's talk about that voice. I did not like the voice.
Eyes, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks, so little time.
Becca, did you like the voice?
Give me sexy Bane vibes, so yeah, I'm into it. Yeah. I like the monsters. Give me those monsters.
Is that how he's supposed to be in the comic?
Well, we don't know.
Like Eddie can hear him? Like a
I
voice?
don't remember that. I don't remember if to be honest, I don't know. But the actual voice, did you think it was scary, good, bad?
Well, it was only scary because it was loud. Mm-hmm. And then once you got used to the fact that it was there, it was just comical. Like, it was comical that it existed, that someone wrote that into a movie, and it continued. And it called him a pussy.
It's it's also funny because starting with Dark Knight Rises, people complained that in the original trailer, you couldn't understand Bane's voice.
No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
So they remixed it, and they almost like they took his voice and they grafted it on top of the rest of the mix.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
And they did it with Kylo Ren.
Look how old you've become.
And now they're doing it with Venom.
We are Venom.
Where it's like the rest of the mix of the movie is like here, like a sandwich. And then on top of that, they just stamped Venom's voice. You know what I mean? Because it's so like outside the rest of the mix. Like it doesn't sound like it's in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Like, that could have been an interesting thing to do if they would have framed it better. If it's like, oh, this is all-encompassing Eddie, and, like, he can't escape this voice. But it was more like I don't really want to watch this.
Okay, we've talked about Eddie Brock. We talked about Venom. What about the bad guy? What was his name?
I'm evil.
Yeah.
That's his name.
You know
I
what?
thought he was a good actor. He actually had a couple good lines, but he was pretty one-dimensional, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what this movie suffered from. It was like an embarrassment of riches in actors. Like, Riz Ahmed is amazing. Tom Hardy is gold. Michelle Williams, like, isn't she like an Oscar winner?
Yeah, right?
Like, amazing actors in this film. And I'm sure I'm missing like a plethora. But like, what happened? Like, what happened?
That's the thing is, it's like Michelle Williams is such a good actress, and it was almost like embarrassing seeing her do such a good job in this movie. It was like eating McDonald's but having like a really like a delicacy just shoved onto the plate with the rest of the McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like it didn't
So it was
fit.
like you're eating McDonald's in the McDonald's bathroom.
Yeah.
That's what this movie was. The downtown Windsor McDonald's bathroom. Dr. Dan? Dr. Dan?
Oh,
Dan.
Dr.
Because you guys like
Dan.
Dr. Dan.
Come on. Like, only redeeming part
Yeah,
of this.
the man
film.
you take home, like, ladies, Dr. Dan. You don't want your Eddie Brocks. You don't want your emo antiheroes. You want the nice doctor who cares about your career. And
who just wants to legitimately save lives and find out if the parasite inside you is going to eat you alive.
which it was. It was gonna.
He's like a true doctor. He really just wants to like keep everyone alive, and that is, you know, the message of this film.
Okay.
Yeah, morals of this movie. You know what? Maybe give your franchise back to Marvel. That's the moral.
So here's the big question: okay, number one, is this movie going to succeed or is it going to bomb? I think it's going to bomb badly.
Yeah, but Transformers makes money, so I have no idea
That's
because
true.
Venom fans.
You know, you know what's funny? I realized from doing the show, I have no clue what audiences want. And by the way, the people we were with in the theater enjoyed it. They were laughing, they were clapping, they were cheering. Did you notice that?
There was clapping.
Yeah. Okay, and another question. What movie is worse, Venom or Spider-Man 3? I think Venom's worse because I actually enjoyed Spider-Man 3, so.
I think Spider-Man 3 is worse because that is a worse movie, because at least this movie was about one person's struggle with another person. Spider-Man 3 was about way too many people doing way too many different things and Peter just having an emo day and punching his girlfriend. He punched his girlfriend in that movie. So automatically makes it worse because Venom doesn't hit women. He doesn't.
I actually only remember about that walk to the music.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only thing.
Nothing can top that.
No, nothing. There was that should have been its own hour-and-a-half movie. And I, for one, would like to know, because apparently Tom Hardy's going hard to bat for this film. He's gone on record to say that about 90 minutes have been chopped. It's like, well, what 90 minutes could have saved that from the train wreck that this is?
More Venom making out with Eddie Brock. It's 2018. Well, my favorite part. The dog. Gemini. Like, remember the dog's name. And the dog Venom is top tier Venom. Like, where's that movie? I want to watch the Pet Avengers have to fight dog Venom. Like, give me that. Like, the Venom CGI wasn't that bad.
Actually, it wasn't terrible. It looked like hard candy, though. The way that candy apples are glossy.
The teeth were good. The teeth on both Venom and, spoilers, Riot were good.
They've done Venom twice now. They still haven't quite got him right. The way I always imagined him from, like, at least how Todd McFarlane drew him was that it was more like a liquidy type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I'd like to see Venom. Pure black. I don't need any of that other garbage they add to him. But then again, they couldn't even tie this version of Venom into Spider-Man, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, like the way people cosplay Venom is like 100% better than what they did in this film.
Yeah, that's the case with a lot of these movies. Just like every cosplay Batman I've seen, it looks better than Christian Bale's suit, but whatever. I'm not going to see this movie again. Becca, are you going to see this movie again?
I might have to. I'm not going to stand here and say that I didn't have a blast, because I had a lot of fun. But I also really enjoy bad movies. So will I go see it again? Maybe, if I, have to. Jolie?
I wouldn't see this again if they projected it on the back of my corneas.
Are you nostalgic for Elektra? Are you nostalgic for Green Lantern and Catwoman and Ghost Rider 2? The second Punisher? Go see this movie, because it reminds me of the disappointment that I felt when I saw Daredevil for the first time. The tears and the how could they do this to me, and the how dare you, and the existential crises, and that I'm pretty sure Daredevil spawned my emo phase, and this one's gonna spawn my new age emo phase. So get ready, world, because Scene is back. Ew.
Sorry.
Every time.